Welcome back, guys, to the Andrei Delic Podcast. I'm here with Jay Morris with an M, guys. Come on, man, with an M.
Don't mess it up.
Jay Morris, thanks a lot for being here, man. I appreciate it. Like I tell all my guests, you're a very busy guy. Many people that I have on my podcast, they're all very busy. So whenever they take the time to come on my podcast, have a convo with me about life, about everything, your story and your ambitions, whatever, I appreciate you taking the time, man.
I appreciate you having me. This is a dope setup that you have here too, man.
That's a nice setup, man. But that goes all to Matt Perry.
Okay,
Props to him,
shout
man.
out to Matt Perry, then.
Yeah, man.
Shout out to you too, though,
because
because you up in here. But shout out to the team.
Shout out to everyone, man.
Yeah,
Everyone that's making something happen in this city, like you, like City Fidelia, and many other artists.
Shout out to City Fidelia. Yeah.
Big shout out to him, and what a beautiful soul, man. Such a beautiful guy, man. Honestly, we had a good convo, and just like see what kind of a good guy he is, man.
Right.
Caring about his community.
The mayor. You know,
the mayor of the
That's
city.
what they call him, you know, salute to city. Yeah.
That's how they called him?
Yeah.
That's his nickname?
That's the mayor, man.
The mayor of the city. I love it. So, Jay Morris, again, like I told you before the podcast, when we met in front of the house of the studio, everything you're doing for the city, for the culture, rap culture, or just the city in general, for the culture of arts, it's beautiful, man.
Right.
From rapping, from discovering new venues, food, restaurants for people to try out new food, helping out local economy, and then, of course, releasing a child's book, not just a book, but a child's book. These are all topics that I want to get into. But before that, before you became Jay Morris, what was your like childhood like and your upbringing?
Yeah. I mean, I come from like the single parent household. I have a few siblings, but was raised mainly with my one of my older brothers, and I used to go back and forth between my mom and my pops is a reggae singer.
Really? Okay,
so, I kind of grew up in sort of a musical family, whenever I was hanging with him, and he brought me on a few stages back in the day, and I think I just got like a little bug for what it is. It's an adrenaline rush when you're on stage, right?
I imagine.
The crowd is cheering, and so I remember that from a young age. So a lot of that, like everybody, the struggles, being raised, my mom was on welfare at the time, but she was a hard worker. My pops was, a struggling maybe musician, you want to call it, so just raised in those kind of situations. But, everybody has struggles in life. So mine weren't too bad when I look at it, but I lived on my own at 16,
At 16, man.
That's sort of why even the hip hop food drive is a thing that I do, and it's like when I was 16 years old, I was literally, working, going to school, and having to go to food banks to get by, because you're not making that much at 16 years old, I
mean, what kind of job can you have if you're not like a superstar athlete? You know what
exactly,
I mean?
So I lived, like that for a little bit, and I got into music around that same time and started just really expressing myself through music,
Yeah, so at 16, you were working, going to school, trying new ambitions, rapping. Wow, man, it's a lot of, must have been hard, man.
Yeah, but I mean, it's when you're living in a place like Canada, it's not, if you know how to get by, it's not so bad. But
of course, we are really blessed to be here in Canada, 100%. Man. We are really blessed.
But everybody has their struggles, So
of course,
mine weren't too bad, but they were. Up
but
there.
still, man, it was something that you overcame, and it made you the person that you are today, right?
For sure.
And then plus, so your dad was a reggae singer.
Still is, yeah.
Still is.
He's rocking the stage every other weekend.
Really?
Yeah, he's gonna be in. I don't know when this is dropping, but he's in Wakefield on August 8th.
What's his name? Stage name?
Ross Lee.
Okay.
Like Rasta, Ross Lee.
Yeah.
And he's like Canadian Music Reggae Award winner, Juno nominee. So he's put in some. He's the Ottawa Reggae Ambassador.
Real okay. Like officially or like city mayor, or like City Fidelia?
No, officially crowned Ottawa Reggae Ambassador.
Yeah.
And man. So big shoes to fill. On that side of stuff, yeah.
Or he's Jamaican, I suppose?
Yeah.
And he arrived here when he was younger, or?
Don't make me act like I know. I don't know, Back in the day before I was brought here.
Yeah, okay.
Into this world.
Yeah, you're not really aware of it.
Yeah.
And your mom, is she also Jamaican?
She was born in America. Yeah.
Okay, she's American.
Yeah.
Okay, so then at 16, you were going to school, high school, I suppose, in Ottawa?
16, high school,
and then you were working. When did you get into music, rap more seriously? Not just fucking around with your friends, but like actually, I want to make a living off of it.
Yeah. I mean, so I dropped out of school when I was 16 as well, like at some point in that year. And then I went back to school when I was like 18. So some point between like 16 and 18, the music bug caught me to the point that I wanted to, actually record songs. my first song was horrible, you know.
Just like my first podcast.
Where is it in the files? Where is it? It got deleted.
Go for no. You can go on my YouTube page. Go 4 years ago.
We won't send anybody there. Yeah. So between 16 and 18, I caught it, you know, and from there it just became like something that I just naturally was doing, you know, like putting music to CDs, selling CDs hand to hand. You know, the first time that like I ever got like money from music was selling CDs hand to hand on Canada Day. We sold like 1,000 CDs.
Damn,
you know,
really?
downtown at Rideau, you know.
In one day?
Shout out to Broken Bridge, you know, which is a group that I used to rock with. So that was sort of like that first, you know, oh, we can get money off this. And then it just became like, oh, now we're doing shows. Oh, they want me to perform? Okay, well, it's going to cost this much to perform, you know? Started going down that route of stuff. And then, you know, years later, you know, if you kind of stay in the city, which, you know, I got 3 kids now, so I'm pretty much here unless I can get out of the city. But I performing all the time too. So it's like I said, it's like you know, my pops has some big shoes to fill.
Yeah.
And I feel like, you know, I gotta follow in his footsteps musically. And I find that like, yo, sometimes we're both rocking shows. Like I'm in one part of the city, he's in another part of the city, which is real crazy.
Like father,
you know?
like son.
Yeah. But yeah, we're just trying to, you know, keep it moving and get out. So I just got back from New York recently.
Nice.
You know, did some media run out there, did some music out there in the States, and, you know, just trying to push outside of this city, you know, that I've been in for so long, you know. Not that I don't love it, but it's time to get out of it too. You know?
Of course, like, you know, you can always respect where you come from, your city, where you grew up and everything, but there's nothing wrong with, you know what, you want to just go to bigger heights, want to expand, and then you just go out there, let's say Montreal, Toronto, New York, and you went to Manhattan, I suppose.
I lived in Toronto for 10 years, man.
Really? Okay.
So I moved to Toronto at one point in like 2009, because at the time, it was like sort of on the brink of like, the internet's around, but it's not like the medium that you could use to blow up around the world at that time. So
it was new, but it wasn't popping as much as it is right now.
You could do it from anywhere in the world. It wasn't really like that. And so I moved to Toronto thinking, oh, big, you know, big city, big lights. That's the place to go, because I've already done so much in Ottawa, right? And then after 10 years, I ended up coming back because my daughter moved back here with her mom. So I was like, yeah, I gotta come back to the city too. I can't be away from my daughter. And then I'm glad I did, because, you know, coming back here is also when Cranium Festival started, you know, and all of that stuff. So just being put in the right rooms with the right people again. But yeah, I've always been doing this, you know, music stuff since I was a little kid, and it just keeps changing into different lanes. That's why you talked about like the kids book.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I got two kids books now. One of them is called The Adventures of Yo Dog, and then another one called Little Ray and a Brighter Day. And so, like, you know, that's happening. The homie Quest was here, you know.
Yeah, shout out
to Quest, the
behind
OG,
the scenes.
the God, you know what I mean? The GOAT out here. He helped me produce one of my latest albums, which is called Little Minds and Bigger Rhymes. It's a children's album. So, you know, just being in that lane of like children's content now, and then, you know, the festival stuff and the hip hop food drive, and, you know, the music stuff and the rap and food critic, you know.
Yeah.
Because I love food, so.
We all do, man.
Yeah.
We all do. We all love food, man.
Yeah. It's been a great journey of music so far.
Yeah. And you're always trying out new things. And that's what's good with life, because, like, let's say one of my biggest idols, Arnold, right? He did so many things, and all these things that he did, no one believed in him. Like, he said, I wanted to be the best bodybuilder in the world. Oh, it's not gonna happen. You're from Europe. Here in America, we have a better culture. We're leaner, whatever. He came here, he became champion 7 times. I want to get into movies. Everyone laughed him out of the office because they're like, you have a thick accent. Right. You don't have the normal Hollywood look. You look like a bodybuilder. He ended up being one of the greatest, most paid actors of all time. Legendary. And then governor of California twice. Right. So, like, of course, I think the best is always you follow your heart, because that is where your heart will pursue you, will follow you. Make sure that you follow your passions, and that will bring you to what you're supposed to do, which are your passions. There's something I really love. And I mean, like you said, your dad was into reggae, right? And then did you immediately get into rap, hip hop, or did you start with like maybe reggae because, hey, my dad's there, I've been in it since I'm 3 years old. It's in my blood. Like, how did dad get into it?
So I mean, I remember like him having me write some of his lyrics. You know, like he would say the lyrics, and then I would write them down for him, literally write them down for him, you know, but they were his words. And so maybe in that sense, I started like understanding how to write songs, you know, reggae songs and just good music. Cause reggae is like, you know, worldwide music.
You feel good.
Yeah. So I got like maybe that training on songwriting that way. And then eventually like I remember being in high school, and one of the homies that I started, this music stuff with, he was, just even before I really knew who he was writing a verse in school in the cafeteria. And I went up and I was like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "I'm writing a rap." I was like, "You writing a rap? How do you do that? What are you doing?" And then he showed me what he was doing. And then I remember going home that night, and there was a video, I don't know if it was on BT or something like that, but it was Nas. And it was the nasty Nas, that record there. And then I remember being inspired by the video and the record and going, you know what? Like, that's the same day I just found out about, this is where you writing raps. And I just went and did it myself. I wrote a, verse that night, and it was horrible. It's terrible, terrible. But it had flow, and I was doing something. And then I just continued to, do that. And eventually it just turned to being better with it,
Of course, it's with practice, repetition that you get better and better naturally.
So it kind of, it went like maybe a spark of that reggae vibes to rap that way. And then, now it's like a mix of like, I feel like I can write anything. You want me to write a country record? I could do it.
Really?
Like,
okay, yeah.
So
you can always like switch your mind and adapt your mind to specific genres of music.
Yeah, I think musically, what I like to explain is like, for me, the vocal is an instrumental or an instrument to the instrumental. So, like,
okay,
you might have your drums and your keyboards and whatever, and like those are your, different instruments to make a beat. And when you rap, you're putting your vocals onto that beat too. So I got to match with the beat, musically. So I'm adding an instrument, my vocal, to whatever beat. I can do that, At this point, I've perfected it enough that I just like to make music. So once I catch a vibe on whatever beat it is, you might get raps, you might get singing,
Yeah, just whatever feels natural and whatever feels good.
If we're going to do a rock song today, I might get in that lane,
Why not, bro? You try everything out. At the end of the day, you're an artist, right?
Yeah, that's it. Musically, I'm all about it now,
So like someone like me who has no clue, no idea how to write a song, when I was in high school, I remember we had a Detrack. I don't know if you know about him.
Course,
I had him on my podcast. I remember when I was like 15. Yeah, big shout out to him, man. A legend in Gatineau here.
He's actually going to be performing at Cranium Festival.
Really? Okay. Nice. So yeah, I had him on my podcast, and I remember when I was 15 years old in high school, he came to like everyone's classroom to show us how to write slam poetry.
Let's go.
Slam poetry. And I remember
how long ago is this?
11 years
date
ago.
Yourself.
I'm 26. I'm 26. So 11 years ago. I was like 15, but I remember him vividly. And I remember kind of well how it went down because I've always loved music and rap. So I was really kind of interested in it, but never enough for like, I want to start writing. Like, never sparked me that much. I just loved listening to it. Big fan. And then he started telling me that to write slam poetry, which is a bit different than poetry, but it's not exactly rap. It's like slam poetry. I don't know.
Right.
Maybe
it's something different. It's like battle rap is different than writing on.
Exactly. Yeah. And then he said it has to rhyme at the end, and then there's many different types that it can rhyme. It can be like the first line rhymes with the third one, the second one rhymes with the fourth one, the first and the second one rhymes together.
Let's go.
Is it that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, the third and the fourth.
There's many different ways to go about it, but yeah.
Okay, yeah.
100%. Like he knows the science to it.
Yeah.
For sure.
So basically, writing rap, because you can write rap, and my question is, what's the difference between, let's say, writing rap and writing reggae?
Right.
Like, technically speaking.
How many things words you could fit into.
Okay.
Into, maybe a bar or into, a minute would be different. Like with reggae, you're stretching out because you're singing, right? So you may, one of my pops records is like, "Lovers violence, have you ever seen before? Whoa," right? Like, so it's like, it's not that many words, but if I was to rap that, it'd be like, "Lovers violence, have you ever seen before?" You know what I mean? So there's more words that go into rap than to reggae, I would say. Maybe that's slightly the difference. And then, I mean, now with rapping, like a lot of people like rap / sing, it's melodies,
Drake.
Melodic vibes to it, right? So you could do rap on a reggae beat,
Okay.
And I've done that plenty of times, so they're pretty similar, but it's just, I would say it's like about how many words and kind of vibes you could, lyrics you could fit into a minute would be different than.
Okay, that's like the main difference.
To me.
Okay,
yeah. Aside from that, everything is music. So I could, if you give me a reggae beat, I could sing reggae and then go into rap on that same beat,
I feel like maybe this is how I see it. Rap is more like you said, you're more like talking in a way. But you're not necessarily talking, you're rapping. But there's more words like...
Well, I mean, some rappers sound like they're just talking.
You know what I mean? Some people, it's like they're literally talking, but it's like rhyming and it's...
Me, I like to have flow and melody. And
yeah.
So my stuff is usually like that. And it's very intricate. Like I'll rhyme like, 3 or 4 of different words within one bar type thing. Like I'm pretty creative like that. Yeah.
What are your thoughts on people who say that not everyone can sing, but everyone can rap?
Not everyone can sing, but everyone can rap.
Yeah, I heard like Chris Brown say it once.
I don't believe that. No, not everybody can rap. I mean, you could teach somebody to rap very easy compared to singing. Maybe yes, but not everybody can even do that. To be able to nail it, and because it's all about timing and rhyming.
You gotta have it in you in a way, and then plus you develop it. You become better and better and better. And better. So at the age of...
Can you rap, by the way?
I wish. No, I can't. It never, like I said, I'm a big rap fan, but I never, I had many friends who like, oh, I want to start rapping. They started writing stuff and whatever. I never got like, as much as I love rap, and I'm a big fan of rap and even rock and roll, because my parents, they really love like rock, Led Zeppelin, Rolling Stones, and all of them guys. Even though as much as I loved it, I was such a big fan, it never attracted me to start writing or... Just, I never got the feeling, I guess. It's not something that I'm born to do, whatever. I never really got it. But so what I want to ask you is, when you started rapping, how long did it take you to drop your first single and then your first album?
Oh, wow. That's a good question. So I started rapping when I was 16, and I think officially the first single that I ever had was on a mixtape called New Styles. And it was back in, like, when I was 20. So it took about 4 years from the first time that I started writing to officially dropping something that was going out to the public. But when I was like 16, I went to Glebe Collegiate Institute.
Okay, yeah.
And there was a studio in the school. There was a recording studio, and there was a studio for video editing and just film or whatever. And so we recorded a song, horrible studio setup, in the school. And then we shot a video in the school. So I did that when I was 16, and we released it for like a school, class.
When you were 16
or whatever. Yeah.
Okay. So that wasn't like what you consider to be a first single.
No, because that was like for, your grades in school.
Oh, okay. Okay. It was like a class project.
Yeah. So it got released to school. That's it, But yeah, I'd say like 20 was the first time that I officially could say, yo, my music's on a physical CD, And then after that, there was a couple like mixtapes at the time in Ottawa, because people were like physically doing mixtapes. So there was a couple different, groups or stores even that were like pumping out Ottawa artists on the mixtape. So I was on a few of those. And then I think 2004 was like the first time that I actually had like my own, because the New Style project I referred to when I was 20, this is like, 30 other MCs on this project. So it's still only like
a lot,
my one song on a mix of a whole bunch of other people. But in 2004, I dropped my first project with Broken Bridge. It was called the Broken EP, and that's the one I told you about, the 1,000 CDs on Canada Day. Like we were pushing, out the trunk type style,
Yeah.
It was dope, man.
That must have been that. You must have felt great when you guys even sold out 1,000 CDs.
Yeah.
That's really good. 1,000 is
at that time, hand to hand. It was like that felt like big money.
People get to know you.
Kid,
But imagine just the fact that you make money from doing something you're passionate about. You're winning in life.
Yeah, it showed you that
like,
there's something. There's something to this.
Exactly, man. And in your opinion, why do you think it took you 4 years to drop something official?
I think back then it was a little bit harder to really just pump stuff out. Like now, I can record in my own studio, send it to Quest to get mastered, and the next day, we're uploading and distributing through, online platforms, right? So it's a lot easier now than back then. Whereas back then it's like I was younger, I didn't have enough money. I'd have to either record at somebody else's studio, or the setup that I had at home wasn't as good as it is now. Or I would have to go to an actual studio and pay for that, and so that definitely takes a toll, like when you're that young, compared to nowadays. And I think just not knowing what I was really doing, it was like I wasn't recording as much with the goal of putting music out. It was just like, oh, I'm going to record. I recorded a song. Oh, I got 2 songs. Oh, now I got 8 songs. Now I could do an EP,
I guess it's all like a process of just figuring out everything, how it's supposed to go. It's like me when I started off this podcast with my brother. He had the idea. I think we did like 1 episode, maybe a month. And like we had no clue. Like I guess 1 episode a month. I guess yeah, sure, why not? How do we make a clip? Like I guess we just cut it and then we just post it. Sure, yeah, let's just do that. You know,
and then at that seeing the likes come through and the comments coming through, and the followers coming through.
It helps. It motivates you, right? Because you're like, oh shit, it might actually make sense. Like there might be something to it. You know, for me especially, like so when I bring guests or when I talk about football, soccer. When I talk about soccer, I have like hot takes. That's why Quest probably doesn't love my Portuguese or Ronaldo takes.
Quest, where you at?
Well, like I said, so I guess it's always like a process of figuring everything out, especially when it's something like a big dream, like being a rapper or having these successful podcasts. It takes a lot of effort, way more effort than people who don't do it actually realize that it's a lot of time, it's a lot of effort. And in the beginning, you're so lost. Like even now after actually your episode number 188.
Let's go.
Even after
I'm upset that I'm not number 1 or number 200.
You should be happy that you're not number 1.
All right.
Because I would probably be.
You were horrible.
Yeah, I would probably be fumbling right now.
Yeah, we're in a good place right now.
Yeah, like everything's up to date. Everything makes sense. You know what I mean?
No, it's clean here.
Like I said, like it's a lot of effort and it's like figuring yourself out. What do you actually want to do? Does it make sense? But then I have to pay this. Then how I'm gonna do it? It's just sticking to it. And then like at the end of the day, all your questions will be answered just by never giving up and just by doing it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. You gotta keep at it. I used to do radio on CHO 89.1 FM for like years and years and years.
Like a radio host.
Radio host. Yeah,
nice.
I was on 93.1 CKCU at one point. I was in Toronto on 89.5 out there. So I've like 15 years of like doing radio. With hip hop shows, and I used to play like all Canadian music all the time. So, some people appreciate it and some people don't, but you still got to do it for the culture.
Yeah, of course.
You're doing. So you're doing some big stuff, man.
And we have big singers here in Canada, man. Honestly, like if you think about it, like historically and even now, huge names, man. Mm-hmm. Like sometimes we forget about it, but when you actually take the time, like if you think about, let's say in Quebec, Celine Dion, like she's known across the world. It's crazy.
Worldwide.
Or now you have like The Weeknd. I always forget that The Weeknd is Canadian. I don't know why. I always forget that he's Canadian. Like Drake, like he reps the 6 so much.
Yeah, and you mentioned earlier about, Belly being from Ottawa.
Belly, I forgot. I always knew of Belly. I kind of knew that he was from Toronto or Canada or something, but I didn't know that he was actually from Ottawa. And I guess you know him personally from your days.
When I used to do like the Hold It Down DVDs back in the day, we had him on the Hold It Down DVD. I've been to music video shoots that he's done before. And definitely like he was one of the artists back in the day when we were doing the CD stuff that was out here with his team pushing CDs too, and now he's doing like huge things, writing for, artists like Beyonce and just, so many great things, The Weeknd. And so salute to Ottawa legend. Right
honestly, man, that's a real legend, honestly, man. You know him for quite some time now. Did you know him personally?
Just from those things that I mentioned. Never on a personal level, And we had him at Cranium Festival, actually.
Yeah. And exactly, what is Cranium Festival? Exactly.
Hip Hop and R&B Festival.
Okay.
We also do Recognize Awards every year as well, where we're recognizing some of the industry builders in the city, musicians, directors, all that. We got our conference and showcase that happens every year inside the NAC, and we bring delegates, industry professionals from all over the world, and they come out to sort of take in the talent that we have in the city with hopes of bridging a path from Ottawa to the rest of the world.
That's good. Especially how many people say that Ottawa is boring, like we don't have anything going on. So it's always nice to have like local people who create festivals or create events. I know City Fidelia, he told me that he's always trying to do something for his community, right? Always trying to do something.
He's another one, who's always out here, doing
of course,
stuff,
he's always
with his studio too. And, I have a live music accelerator program right now too, helping out emerging, artists, teaching them how to just basically get better on stage, as an emerging artist, take it from sort of having what already to learning a little bit more and being able to, take that to further your career. And there's been some artists that have gone through that have done some great things now so far.
Of course,
even after that program. So yeah, it's about building for the city, and for me, it's always been like, can I help create a platform for artists that I didn't have? Growing up, because when I was 16 years old,
that you wished you had.
There weren't a lot of these things. There weren't podcasts like this.
Really? Okay, yeah. Well, it's new. Podcasts are kind of new, right? Like 2009, I think.
Or radio shows or whatever. Like it's like minimum amounts of things. But even, you know, even from when podcasting per se started, what year could we say podcasting started? What's like the official, you know?
Yeah, who knows? Yeah,
but if you want to take it back, like people, when people were just doing radio shows, they were still filming the video content of the radio show.
Like Howard Stern.
Yeah, that
those
type of
guys.
stuff's happening. Oh, we got Quest knows the
sure,
first
go ahead.
one.
Yeah, who's?
Tom Green.
Is that the guy that brought Joe Rogan once?
Ottawa,
and then he
Tom
said,
Green.
"Yo, this is actually insane because you're not watched by these like big CEO corporate companies, whatever." Yeah, okay. I think Ottawa guy.
Yeah. Tom Green's from Ottawa.
Oh, damn. Huh?
Yeah. Also used to be on 89.
Yo, Ottawa, we're on, man. What's happening, guys? Yo, come on, man.
Ottawa's
Guys,
the
we're
spot,
on.
man.
Really? He's from Ottawa, Tom Green. And what is he? He's like a comedian? Is he
Comedian, rapper, actor.
Really?
Yeah. He had a group called Organized Rhyme back in the day. Yeah, and there was another member of his crew called Greg Campbell. He still lives in the city now.
Yeah.
And he's like a real estate agent, like one of the dons of real estate, you know?
Really?
Yeah. He's just
Really? Damn, I didn't know about that. I didn't know that the guy who like started podcasting was a guy from Ottawa. I heard once Steve Jobs, because technically podcast is iPod broadcasting. And he was like the first, I saw like a video of him explaining to people, like imagine you having your own show just because of a phone, thanks to a phone or something like that. He was explaining it. And he said that podcast comes from iPod broadcasting. So maybe that's where it comes from. But
interesting.
It's crazy to see that a guy from Ottawa, man. It's actually, we're actually on here in Ottawa, man.
Quest always has like some did you know things.
That's good, man. I like that.
I didn't know that.
we all have a friend. Like I have a friend like random. He's like, oh, quick fact. I'm like, what do you mean? He just tells me a random fact. But it's good.
When we were in New York, like Quest was like, this is where everything, like he was the tour guide of New York and he's hardly ever been to New York. I was like, how do you know all this?
Watched a lot of TV.
Yeah, he knows
very
things.
educated. Do you know maybe why we call it the Big Apple? Because I don't know. I always heard New York is a Big Apple.
Yeah, I don't know that.
Yeah, I thought maybe Quest knew.
Maybe somebody from your team could Google it right now.
Why it's called the Big Apple? I have no idea. One thing that I wanted to ask you, because I know from me, personal experience, if I reflect back on my first episode on my podcast, and now, I mean, I can talk to you about so many transformations that are either personal or professional, quote unquote, that it's such a crazy transformation for myself. I wanted to ask you, either personal or professional, what was your transformation like from day one, first taking a pen and writing rhymes, going to the studio, and then now in 2026, how have you transformed? How was your style changed, your writing style, your process, and everything?
Yeah. So actually, when I first started writing, and it wasn't to copy, you know, artists like Jay-Z or Lil Wayne or, you know, some of the artists that have sort of been noted as not having to use a pen, you know.
Okay, really? Okay.
But when I first started writing, it was like that. I didn't need to actually like, you know, my first verse was writing, but after that, it's like I started to get to the point where I didn't need to write anymore. I just remember everything. And the reason I had to do that is because I'd be on the bus sometimes and like think of a good rhyme and not have anything to write it down on. So I started to train myself, you know, I guess just naturally that way to remember stuff, and didn't even realize that what I was doing was like something not everybody was able to do. And so for the longest time, like people could tell you stories if you asked the right people. I used to literally be in the studio and like people would think I'm sleeping and I'd wake up with a verse in my head, you know, like stuff like that. And I would just be able to write and without physically writing down and just remember stuff. As I got older, I stopped doing that as much and started like finding myself in situations where I was writing and using my phone or using the laptop or whatever. And now I've kind of lost that skill of just being able to write like that. But I know if I put myself just in the studio again all the time and, you know, put away everything, I could get back there.
Because you have it naturally, probably. It's like a natural talent. You know what I mean?
But it's like exercising. Like if you don't, you know, exercise all the time, you're going to lose your muscle. You know?
Of course. So,
yeah. So it's just about, you know, reminding the muscle, my brain muscle, that I could do it. But I definitely have done that before. So things changed for me in that sense, where it went from like, you know, not having to write down to, you know, writing down more. But what I do prefer doing is with Quest, like when we make music, like he'll build the beat in person with me.
Okay.
And while he's like making, you know, the skeleton of the beat, I'm already writing down, you know. And then sometimes like before he's even done the beat, I'll have like 4 to 8 bars and just go rap them in the mic, you know. And then as soon as I rap them, then boom, I come back and finish the next 8, jump in right away and do that, you know. So I prefer kind of making music that way, which is different than the way I used to.
Okay, because there's always a big question in rap, especially, does the beat come first or the lyrics?
Yeah. Before, I used to just write lyrics without a beat. Like I said, I'd be on the bus,
Thoughts,
I just whatever something comes to me, and then I would put that lyric to a beat. So you have to try to fit what you wrote to the flow of another beat, because when you're writing lyrics, you are writing to a beat in your head technically, even if there's no actual instrumental. And then I would try to fit that, it's like a puzzle piece. You're fitting that on another beat. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Me personally, I prefer to write to the music so I can, like I said earlier, like my vocal can match with that beat and be part of the instrumental,
Oh, okay. That's actually a real talent. And being an artist, like, people discredit it so much. People who aren't really into it or who don't really love music as much, they discredit that talent.
You know what I hate though? Like, really, 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 really hate, and I'm glad we're on a podcast I could talk about it. I don't think I've ever mentioned this before, is I hate when people say, oh, that beat was fire when I play a song, because I didn't make the beat. Like, it happens all the time, Like, my lyrics was fire.
Everything was fire, bro. Come on, man.
Shout out to the producer, but my lyrics, though.
But people, I think some people, when they say, I like the beat, I think they think about it as a whole.
Yeah, no, but that'd be like somebody watching this podcast and being like, yo, that desk is fire.
Oh, yeah, I understand. The phone he has right now, is an iPhone 16, 17, which one is it? The color's awesome, bro.
No, but your verse,
the color's nice. The color's nice, man. Yeah, but like I was saying, man, that's a real fucking talent. And that's a real, like, intelligence that really exists, because for such a long time, people thought that, intelligence is, are you good in math? Right. Are you good in science? Are you good in vocabulary or whatever? But there's so many other talents and so many other IQ tests that people can do. And that's why, how they say, like, no one is actually dumb. Just everyone has different things that they're better at than other people. You have someone who's really talented at writing songs, at being an artist, painting, whatever. Yeah. Who cares if he's not good at math, at science, whatever? Right. He's good at this. Right. And that's his passion. He wants to follow that. God, the universe, whatever you believe in, he was created for that. So we shouldn't discredit him or demoralize him because at school, which is traditional school, mathematics, whatever, he wasn't good there. That's where...
That's me.
I was good when I wanted to, but I was lazy in school, man.
No, but I always felt in school, like, if they had, classes that were dedicated just to, like, songwriting or something like that, like, I would have been an A student.
But they should have it. Yeah. They should, honestly.
I feel like now schools...
They should be changing a little bit. Yeah.
I like the schools that, like, you can go and learn, like, a trade.
Yeah,
because those are things that you can use later in life. But yeah, if any of those schools were to have like a song, a rap writing or spoken word or whatever, like those are things I would have aced in for sure,
Yeah, of course. You've been in great.
So
they figured out why it's called the Big Apple.
Oh, okay, let's go.
The Big Apple is a famous nickname for New York City that means a place of great opportunity, big dreams, and ultimate success.
So nothing to do with the apple.
The term started in the horse racing world. Stable hands in New Orleans called New York's large racing tracks the Big Apple because they offered the biggest prize money. I guess that's why John J. Fitzgerald, a sports writer for the New York Morning Telegraph, heard the term and used it as a title of his racing column.
I feel like you need to enter in like the dun dun dun. That was like real, like horrible. Like
I thought it was gonna be something. I thought it was gonna be something crazier, like
what to do with the apple. They used to put an apple on the mobsters used to put an apple on and shoot it off your head
or something like that, like the mafia members or something like that. I remember I watched a movie. What was the movie with Will Ferrell where he's an anchorman? The Anchorman? Is that the name of it? Yeah. So, and he said, they call it the Big Apple because in every street in New York, there's an apple tree. And I was like, is that true?
Then it would have been called the Big Pizza or something.
Yeah, exactly.
That would have a pizza.
That would have made even more sense. But yeah, like I was saying, school, like I'm not saying I'm someone who knows how we should restructure school or whatever, but I feel like it needs to restructure because there's so many kids out there who throughout their entire life, they felt like maybe they are dumb, quote unquote, but they're actually not dumb. They're just made for something else. And I feel like every human being is special because everyone has a talent for something. We're all made for something.
Are you basically saying that I'm dumb, but I can rap? Is that what?
Well, I'm joking. No. I don't know you. I'm joking.
No, I feel that way too. Yeah. And for sure, like, I feel like everybody's put here on this earth can do something, different than what everybody else can do, right? Like that's how the world runs. And so for me, it's definitely being creative has always been, the big thing for me. And I've been able to like be creative in different lanes
Mm-hmm.
of creativity, from
Many lanes.
from children's
Many
books
lanes.
to, you know, festival programming to everything, that I do, man.
You remind me of a City because he also does a lot. He's an artist, an entrepreneur, a businessman, and I've asked him this question, and I ask anyone who has a lot of different lanes, how do you juggle it all? How did you go from rapping and then let me host radio, let me write a child's book? Like, what's the thought process behind it?
Yeah.
How do you juggle it all?
Sometimes the things just kind of interweave because, you know, like I feel like I started rapping and then I was like, yo, nobody's playing my song on radio. Let me create a radio show.
Okay.
And so I went and created a radio show, not just to play my own stuff, but to help out the artists that weren't getting their stuff played. And then, you know, years of that turns into many other things. You start to get great at, you know, speaking on radio, and then now you can do advertising and marketing stuff. And, you know, you're naturally, I was filming my radio shows back then too. So, you know, I got like content up on YouTube, and now you're becoming a creator. And, you know, so there's things just kind of all weave into themselves. The kids' books, it's like that came because I, you know, now have 3 kids, and it's like, all right, I could read, you know, books to them every night, or I could read my own book, you know, to them. So starting to create like those things. And then, oh, now I'm doing books. Well, now I got to create a, you know, song for these children's books. And now we're going to do an album, you know. So things kind of all just end up working together. It's like a big ecosystem that just makes sense, you know. And
so you're really open to everything. Like whatever makes sense in your mind, you go out there, you try it out.
I get bored very easily.
Okay.
I don't know if you're that way.
You need change?
Yeah, I just need to do something that keeps my mind sharp, you know?
Yeah.
So if that's like running a festival for 8 years, that's going to keep me, you know, on my toes. If it's like creating the Hip Hop Food Drive platform and running that for 12 years, it's keeping me on my toes, you know? If it's making music for 20 plus years and being creative with that in many different lanes, it's keeping me on my toes. So like the Rap and Food Critic keeps me sharp, you know? Like,
of course, yeah.
As much as it's, you know, fun to eat food and get paid to do it, it's literally one of those things where it's also like helping me keep that skill active, you know, so I don't lose that muscle, you know, being able to write.
Exactly. Yeah, no, and of course, bro. I mean, at the end of the day, that job is phenomenal. Like, you know, Anthony Gordon. Was that his name? Anthony Gordon. No,
Gordon Ramsay.
No, not Gordon Ramsay. The guy, Anthony Bourdain.
Oh, Anthony Bourdain. Okay.
Yeah, the guy who used to travel, eat food, and get paid millions of bucks to travel and eat food.
I'm trying to get paid millions of dollars and eat food. Let's go.
Yeah, that's insane, man. But I'm pretty similar to you in a way where the more occupied I am, either mentally or physically, the happier I am. The less stressed I am, the less negative thoughts I get, the just better I feel. Like whenever I'm at home, maybe Sundays, you know, Sundays I like to just like unwind, no gym, no working, no podcast. Like, let me just like chill with my parents, my family, my brother, go for walks in Ottawa, downtown, whatever, drink coffee. It's like really chill. But the more busy I am, the more I'm focused on bettering myself, on going towards my dreams and my goals, the happier I am, the less I care about what other people have to say, outside noise that doesn't really matter, things that don't actually matter, or things that I don't even have control over. I'm just focused, I'm wired in, I try my best, and that's where I personally feel at my best.
Well, they say like a idle mind is the devil's playground, right? Like, so if you're literally just sitting there doing nothing, it's like,
there's nothing wrong there.
It's the worst. Well, it could be the worst thing for you.
It could also be. But sometimes what I mean is sometimes just to unwind.
Right.
Just sit there without any phone.
And you need that.
Yeah.
You need that, but not too much of it.
Of course,
then you got to keep yourself, like you're saying, you know, consistently doing stuff, right?
Yeah. You know, I've always asked this question myself because, you know, I'm young, and then, you know, I always ask questions about life. Like, you know, on social media, and then now with social media, you always have like different perspectives and different takes. People praising the balanced lifestyle, people saying that it's not good, you should be obsessed on something. How do you see it? The balanced lifestyle, being obsessed, like, how do you see it?
I think you gotta, like, for me, it's like finding that balance of like wanting to consistently, like, I'm obsessed with a lot of stuff that I do, but I gotta know when it's too much, you know, and like you said, be able to take that break and, you know, take a day off from what you're doing. So I think it's okay to obsess about stuff, but you got to know how to be able to also take a break from it, you know, and relax. So for me, like with everything that I'm doing, you know, we talked like, how do we do this, right? It's like once a year, I have to have at least, you know, 2 to 3 weeks where I'm just cutting off from like everything that I was doing and then I kind of come back with like a reset or a recharge, after that. It's important for me.
I think that's a really big skill set, because I remember Tim Grove was the coach, the personal trainer of Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant. And he said the difference between those two was Michael Jordan knew when to turn it off.
Right.
Kobe Bryant didn't know when to stop.
Yeah. You can't always be on the go like that.
And you need to have that skill set. Like it or not, he said that's what Michael Jordan did better than Kobe. He knew when to stop.
Yeah.
Kobe didn't know when to stop.
You have to. It's important, I think. And you could burn out, like
exactly.
A lot of people really do. And I think especially in like hip hop, but maybe just as creatives and artists and, podcasters and whatever it is, right? Like I feel like if you overdrive yourself, you're gonna burn out. So you have to set that. And some people aren't checking in all the time on those type of people too, right? Like you're here putting all this work in for entertainment for other people, but you're not taking care of yourself. That's a problem,
Out of all the career paths you had so far and everything you did, from rapping, writing songs, writing books, food critic, if you call yourself a radio host, businessman, entrepreneur, festival organizer, whatever, what is the biggest challenge you had?
That's great. I'll say the biggest challenge I have is creating too many goals.
Creating too many goals? Okay.
Too many goals. Yeah. I would say that. Like, so I'm constantly, doing that, and maybe putting too much on my plate sometimes, even though we talked about taking a break, and knowing that I'm constantly wanting to create. So I think one thing I'm trying to live by now, and I've said it to myself before, is like, it's really true that less is more. Right?
Yeah.
So it's about understanding that I can still be creative, still put out content, still do all these things, but really taking some time for myself, especially as I get older. Like I said, I got 3 kids now, and I want to take time for them, and give back to them as well, and not constantly just be focusing on things that I want,
Of course, yeah. I don't have kids. My brother just had twins recently, and he said the day they were born, it's like they became the most important thing in my life.
Yeah,
like 100%. I didn't care about anything else. I cannot relate. I don't have kids, so I don't know what that feeling is like. Yeah. But my parents told me the same.
This is your baby?
Yeah, this is my baby. You know what I mean? This podcast is my baby. But what I mean is specifically, my brother told me like it was something like it was unconditional love. It's something that you cannot even explain. I don't know what it feels like, but everyone that I know, including yourself, I feel like family, and from what I know, family is always like the biggest blessing.
Yeah, I think my kids, but I know that my kids now are like, the most important thing before anything. And then comes, a list of other things. I won't label them now so I don't get in trouble, but my kids are definitely number one in my life for sure.
Yeah. And how do you think that maybe sometimes, because you have such different paths, do you sometimes get like not confused, but in a way like lose concentration on a single path because you're more concentrated on another one? Like
too many eggs in one basket kind of
thing? Do you feel like you balance it out well, or like maybe you're like, fuck, maybe I have too much on my plate?
No, I mean, I think what I'm putting out there is being received in the right way. And I know why I do all these different things, like I could be selfish and not do, a lot of like the event programming stuff that I do to help out other artists in the city, or, not have done radio for years, or not have put out DVDs featuring artists, not have done these kind of things to help out other artists. But that stuff is important because not only do I want to still make music, but I want to be able to help out, that next generation. So it's like you take on what is going to better your culture too, So for me, it's like it's making an impact what I'm doing, even though it may, take up a lot of space on my plate, But as long as I know that difference between like I can do that and I can still set some time to, be there as a father and be there as a husband and, just be there, for my family. So
yeah. And how old are you right now?
I'm up there, Nah, I just turned 42.
Congratulations, man. Damn, you look younger, bro. I would have thought like
I'm only 24, 24. 24.
You're younger than me.
Cut this. Don't even put that in there.
Now we can edit it out and then put like the fakest voiceover.
What age? Beep.
24. Like the fakest voiceover.
Let's go with it. Nah. You got to be proud of your, when you get up there now, and I feel like at one point in my life, I used to hide from, that age. And I'd be like, yo, I didn't make it yet. So, I'm not telling people how old I am. And then you get to a point where it's like, now I'm like, I'm just gonna keep creating and doing what I'm doing because I've built a catalog, I've built a legacy, I've built some history, I've created platforms that have helped out numerous artists. So I should be proud of the age.
You should always be proud of yourself,
and a lot of people don't make it to their 40s. So
exactly, man. That's one thing that's really important to realize. People don't realize how grateful you should be. Just the fact that you wake up every morning, and plus on top of that, if you're healthy, you're beyond blessed. And I've said it so many times on my podcast with guests, alone, solo episodes, whatever. Just the fact that you wake up healthy every morning, that is beyond blessed.
Well, you know, I think just naturally as humans, sometimes we're like, oh man, I have so much I have to do and this and that. And we stress ourselves about, you know, all the stuff we have to do. But the fact that we're able to get up and do it
and walk and
not everybody can, it's like, we got to be grateful for those things.
I heard a quote like of a professional wrestler once said, like, whenever I complain about working so hard, I remind myself, I'm blessed to be able to work so hard, because so many people are laying in a hospital bed and don't even have the chance to work as hard as they want to work to achieve their dreams and their goals.
Yeah, 100%.
So just that is a blessing. And I really love Gary Vee on social media.
Right.
I follow Gary Vee. And one thing that he's really big on is no matter what your age is, you're still young as fuck.
Yeah. Well, you gotta feel it too, right? Because some people are young and feel old. You know,
yeah, of course.
Some people are old and feel young, you know.
I know many people.
And then there's people like me that are right in between that don't feel old and are young, you know.
The most important is your personality and your soul. I know so many people who are 50-something and they're way more joyful and way more playful about life in a good way than people that I know that are like 22, 23 and they're stressing out over way smaller things.
Yeah.
And they're way more stressed out. Like the level of being stressed, like it doesn't make sense as much as this guy who's 55 who has way more stress, way more on his plate, but he finds a way to have way more fun and just be way more joyful as a human being.
And it's good that you know that now, you know, than later on in life.
Well, you know what? I know the theory of it. Sometimes in practice, I'm not the best.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
But we're all guilty of those kind of things.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. For me, especially like when I was younger, it was like, you know, life is like hard. You think it's so hard. And then you get older and you're like, man, I had it easy back then. You know? Yeah. Things change as you get older, for sure.
I remember once, like, I got home and I started complaining about work. Oh, I sell cars. And sometimes selling cars with clients, man.
No, that's hard.
And plus I sell Ford.
Right.
So Ford clients, in general, construction workers.
Right.
They're a bit different than the guy who buys a Toyota or Honda, whatever. So sometimes it's mentally draining. It's not physically hard selling cars. It's just sometimes mentally draining. And I got home. I started complaining. Oh, I saw 2 clients. They asked me a million questions, went for 2 test drives, asked me this, asked me that, just so at the end, they're not even going to buy it.
Yeah.
And then my dad's like, you know, I watched one of your clips recently, and you were talking about how you should try to minimize complaining, always be grateful,
like,
this and that. He's like,
practice what you preach.
And he's just like, and he looks at me, he's like, how about you start taking your own advice? I'm like, yeah, fuck. Yeah. He got me there, man.
I had a good reminder like years ago. I was driving and, you know, thinking in my mind how stressful, things are so stressful, you know, how we all do. And I pulled up to this homeless person on the side of the road, and he literally looked in my car and said, I would trade places with you right now. That's all he said to me.
Goosebumps, bro.
I literally was like, I drove away from there and I was like, whoa, like I have nothing to complain about, because, you know, even though I'm feeling like, man, life's rough right now, that guy was ready to switch spots with me right there, you know?
I had one of those moments when I was working as a bartender in Mardi Gras. Shout out to Druel. We had an event. It was like a Thursday where I guess it was many disabled young guys between 18 and 25. They came for a night out, right? And then I met a guy. He was my age, but I didn't know. He told me later on before he left, he was blind. Mm-hmm. Well, I think he was blind because whenever he took a $20 bill to pay for a drink, he would like bring it really close to his eye so you can see, oh, it's a $20. Okay, here you go.
So he was probably checking to see if it was counterfeit.
or maybe
is this the counterfeit one?
Yeah, is this the real one? Oh, it's the real one. You're good. Don't worry. And then I remember like he was having so much fun. He was so happy. And that night, that day, that shift, I remember, I don't know why, it was like 2-3 years ago, I had it down. Like I was feeling badly. I was complaining about this, about school. I was in university at that time, about school, maybe about something that happened with a girl. I don't even remember what happened. I just remember that shift. I was really pissed and angry at life. Then he came the entire night. He was so joyful, so happy, dancing with everyone, laughing, talking to me, whatever. And then at the end of the night, like he was alone with his friend. And then he asked me if I can call him a cab or whatever. I called him a cab, and then I started talking with him. I'm like, oh, how old are you? He's like, oh, 23. When he said 23, I was 23 at that time. And I was like, yo, bro, I've been doing all this complaining. This guy's born blind, and we're the same age. He's been way more happier than me this night, way more joyful, way more grateful, and he's born blind.
Right. What do you?
And I'm here complaining, like, I'm sorry to say, about like a little bitch.
What do you have to worry about? Yeah.
I was like, and when I heard him say 23 and I was 23, I was like, damn, bro. I felt like I said, like a bitch, bro. I was like, what am I doing, man?
Yeah, we have nothing to complain about, really. You know,
crazy.
We're all here right now. You know,
no, I mean, just the fact that we're sitting here, drinking water, having a great conversation, healthy. Quest is there, Matt Berry is there. We just learned why they call it the Big Apple. Like, life is good. You know what I mean?
It's not anything to do with an apple, but life is great.
I love it, man. If I could ask you one thing personally to help me out, what is the best advice you ever got?
It's great. Maybe I'm still looking for it. I don't know.
I like that.
That's a good one. The best advice that I ever got. Definitely. One big thing actually my pops taught me. You know, it's always stuck with me, and I try to preach this to my kids too. Is I hope I don't mess it up and butcher it, but it's something about cleanliness is next to godliness, and that's always stuck with me. You know, not just in the sense of like just being clean. But being like pure, organized, being pure, being on point, being, you know, respectful. All of that has to do with that to me, you know. So, cleanliness is next to godliness.
Damn, I like that one. I'm gonna steal that one. I'm gonna say you. I don't remember who told me, but I like this quote.
So my pops told me that. That might be in the Bible. I don't know, but it's definitely something that's always stuck with me.
Well, your dad's Jamaican, so I presume he's Christian.
I don't know, you know.
Oh, you're lucky.
No, Rastafarian, definitely.
Okay,
Rastafarian. Not Christian.
That's a religion. I was gonna ask you, are you religious?
I believe in God.
Okay.
Never went to church. Don't have like a specific religion. Not against anybody that, you know, believes in a certain religion, but never wanted to label myself as, you know, a specific religion. I think, you know, I believe that there is a
higher
God
power.
And there is a devil.
Yeah. Oh, that there is a devil also. Okay, sure. And do you see it as like a higher power, or do you see it
there's definitely like I say that we're not here without, you know, something created us, right? Like
everything makes sense.
There's no way that we're this smart to just create a podcast and sit here and talk about is there a God? You know?
Well, I mean, the guy who invented the Big Apple, maybe that's not maybe the smartest thing. You know?
Yeah, exactly. No, I've definitely always believed in a higher power. Yeah, I pray, you know.
Okay.
But I don't believe in going to
getting labeled
church and you know, doing all those kind of
because I've always seen it the same, like or not, as Serbians were really Christian, but I've always seen as like, when someone asks me, are you Christian, I'm gonna say yes, but at the end of the day, how I see it is I see all religions are man-made. Like that's how I see it. They are man-made. It's a fact, but it's the same concept and the same philosophy. Higher power, treat others how you would like to be treated, because you know everyone's made in God's image. We're all one. We're all son of God. Like I love the fact that it all goes around love, right? And respecting one another. But I've always had the same logic and the mentality that there are as many religions as there are human beings. Like I think Gandhi said it once, and I've always thought it like that. You know, at the end of the day, we all know what's good from right and wrong. We all try to be the best version of ourselves.
And in every religion, there's people that are sinning and doing,
of course.
So I don't know. I've never been about it. Are you do you have a certain religion that you...
I mean, my parents, Serbians, normally were Orthodox, but when my dad came here with my mom, he learned what Protestantism is, and then he switched to Protestantism because... Protestant. Yeah, Protestantism.
I don't even know.
Oh, you don't know what it is?
No.
Protestantism. So there's Catholicism, Protestantism, and Orthodox.
Jeez.
Those three are like the three biggest branches.
Okay. That's how much I'm not into religion.
Okay, yeah. Normally speaking, Orthodox are Eastern Europeans. So you're Russians, you're Serbians, or Ukrainians, Romanians. Catholics, it's mostly like French, Quebecois in general on paper, they're Catholic. Italians are Catholic. Portuguese, like our friend Quest, they're Catholic. Spanish are Catholic. And then like the Anglo-Saxons are Protestants. England, half of Germany is Protestant. Scandinavia, Sweden, all of those like northern countries, they're mostly Protestant.
Jeez, going to school today.
Well, I know like some things that I really love about, because I studied sociology in university, right? So everything that's like society, humans, social sciences, I've always like been really curious about it. So I always know a lot about it. Like Protestantism started with in Germany with the guy, I forgot his name, Martin Luther.
Okay.
Not Martin Luther King, but Martin Luther. It was a German guy. And because he went against the Catholic Church, which they had like a logic at that time, which is if you commit a sin, well, just give money to the church and then you're absolved from your sins. And then Martin Luther, who was a German, he didn't vibe with it. He didn't agree with it. He said that God and humans, they should have a direct relationship and there shouldn't be a middleman or a middle guy like a priest or like the Catholic Church. Okay. And then he protested against them. That's why they're called Protestants. Okay. And then it went on with Americans, English who came here, and then Americans are mostly Protestant also, English Canadians also. And
well, I mean, when it comes to music, I always feel like I have a connection with God. I feel like everything that I've ever written has been, you know, straight, like literally directly from God. Like I don't even, I'm just the vessel, you know, to
of
write
course.
That.
And I feel like music, like I said with City, it's a universal language.
Yeah.
Right. If I
the track, right? Who speaks?
The track,
French,
yeah.
I don't understand a thing he says, but I know he can rap.
Yeah, he can. He's good. Yeah. Or like, let's say when I hear a Spanish song, I'm not gonna say beat because I feel like artists like yourself, you don't like when someone says beat.
No, I like a Spanish beat too. You know. Yeah.
But Spanish songs, like I don't understand almost 99% of it. I maybe know like one word from here and there, but if they're good, they're good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
music is universal like that. You don't need to understand what's being said. You can feel it. You know, that's why you could go anywhere around the world and perform really. And you know, if the audience is in love with music, they're gonna respect what you're doing.
I heard once Donald Trump before when he was a businessman, someone asked him a question: "What's the most popular thing on planet Earth?" And he said music. What do you think about it?
Yeah, that's not a lie at all. I mean, they use music in everything, right?
Every society has music. Every culture has music.
Things like advertising, which is like one of the biggest ways to get people to do things is by using music, right? And for years, and even now, they use musicians to put out messages, you know, into society. So
and it made a lot of sense because when you think about it, like think about the little small cultures and societies that are like off the grid, you know, like Amazonian tribes or whatever. They probably don't know who Messi is. They don't know what soccer is, but they have music.
Yeah. And
you know what I mean?
And even if it's just like a little on the
it's music.
it's
it's music. Yeah. You know, it's a fact.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What's like the first song that you ever heard that got you into liking music?
When I was young, I started listening to rap 2008, 2009. So Lil Wayne was that was my guy, 6 foot, 7 foot, and Fireman. Like those two songs, especially Fireman, I knew that song like from A to Z.
Okay.
And then I loved Eminem because Eminem and Lil Wayne did many songs together, like No Love, Drop the World.
Right.
Lil Wayne, Eminem got me into it also. 2000 Kanye West was like 2008. Kanye West, Heartless. I remember that's the first song I heard from Kanye West.
Okay.
It was phenomenal because I heard 2008 was when Obama became president, and then he was speaking highly of Kanye West. And then my dad asked me, "Oh, who's Kanye West?" I'm like, "Oh, I don't know." Then I went to go see Kanye West, and I heard Heartless.
Okay.
That's the first time, and that song
is
it's a legendary song, man. Heartless, right? That's what got me into rap, and then rock, which is way before my time. That's my parents.
Okay.
They used to live in Yugoslavia, which is now Serbia, Croatia, Bosnia. There was all one country before. It was communist, socialist mostly, but they had a lot of rock songs over there. Like everyone knew Led Zeppelin, Rolling Stones, The Doors, Aerosmith. The list goes on, right?
Right.
So my parents, they always listened to rock music, that type of rock, right? So when I was young, listening to it, I fell in love with it. Even now, to this day, like you know when Spotify has your yearly rap,
right?
Like my first is always American rap, then it's rock.
Okay.
It's always rap and rock.
Okay.
Those are always my
So
first
the next Spotify rap is gonna be Jay Morris as well.
Jay Morris, City Fidelia. Yeah,
let's go.
I have to, bro. I have to. But it's always those two genres I listen to the most. And recently, watching the Elvis movie like 3-4 years ago, that's where I actually like realized who Elvis was. Because before that, when I was younger, I thought it was kind of a joke, you know, with his hair, the way he used to dress. And it was like in the 50s and 60s. Okay. I thought it was like a joke, you know, like, who's this guy?
That's like one of my grandma's crush. You know?
Really, yeah. Girls loved him, man. In that movie, girls loved him, man. But hey, makes sense. And then when I started actually listening to his music, even if it's 80 years ago, 60 years ago, no matter what it is, his music is phenomenal, man.
Right.
And in music, it never ages out. It's like clothes. You know, clothes sometimes, something was popular in the beginning of the year 2000.
Different eras of fashion.
And now no one cares about it anymore.
But now with music, yeah.
Music, it's like, it can be written, Mozart, it's still really good music.
Biggie and Tupac is always going to be
always going to be really
stuff.
good.
Yeah.
Like Tupac, he was dead. He got shot in what, 96, 95? He got killed.
Something around there. Yeah.
I'm born in 2000, so I was never even alive when he was making music.
Yeah.
But his songs are phenomenal.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like music is just something that's so universal. And I never understand people who say that they don't really love music. I never, like, in my mind, everyone should be in a way obsessed with music.
Yeah. My first, I'm from the era where you would go to a HMV. I don't know about it. It was like a music store. Oh, man, you that young?
Okay. No, I don't know,
come
man.
save me.
I don't know. The earliest I can go is Blockbuster.
Yeah.
That's the earliest I can go.
So, there was a time, back in the day, where we would physically go to the store, right, to buy your projects or your albums. So, for me, the first time I ever went to a HMV and bought an album, I think I was like 14 years old. And, the first album I actually ever bought was from DMX, Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood. Yeah. Dope record. I think I even got like a Kid Capri album at the time. Trying to think who else was, obviously some Tupac music back then. I remember seeing Dr. Dre's name on, albums back then in the
NWA?
Not just literally like it would be like just Dr. Dre, but yeah. And so I come from that era of music, but DMX and Lauryn Hill were
like the beginning of rap.
Not even, no, there's stuff way before then. But as far as like DMX and Lauryn Hill, like those are two artists for me that have been like pivotal to my artistry.
So your first like favorite rapper was DMX in a way?
Yeah, I would say like Lauryn Hill was probably up there.
Lauryn Hill, she sings "Killing Me Softly."
Yeah.
She
was part of the Fugees, a legendary artist.
Yeah.
Lauryn Hill and DMX are like two of those artists for me, And then obviously like some of the greats like Biggie, Tupac, and then artists like Method Man.
Yeah.
Styles
that's like
P,
way before my
Mos
time.
Def, those are all artists. For me,
Quest is laughing the entire time. He's like, yo, this guy's young, man.
Quest, what's going on? No, that's cool though. It's good to see like the difference in music is music. So it's gonna be here forever, man.
Oh, forever, man. That's one thing that's for sure. Ever since humans exist, I feel like even to now, music has always existed and will always exist. Humans will die, will go extinct before music goes extinct.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy, man.
Yeah.
What would you say are your top 5 rappers of all time?
Jeez.
Big question.
It's good. I just heard from the side. So I'm putting Lauryn Hill in there for sure.
Okay. So she's a rapper.
Yeah, rapper, singer, actor. Lauryn Hill's going in there. Tupac, Biggie for sure. I'll put Method Man in that list. And then what's that, 4 now so far?
Yeah.
And then I'll say like they could share the spot would be like Styles P, Nas, and Mos Def. Those are all 3 artists that would have in that list. Yeah, I could probably think of some more, but those.
There's so many rappers.
What's your top 5 now? Since we're from different eras.
You guys are gonna laugh at me because you guys have like so much more knowledge about it, and you guys have been in the game since like the 90s, 80s even. So like my top 5 all time, I'm gonna have Wayne there, Lil Wayne. I'm gonna have. You have to put Drake, man.
Drake, okay, yeah.
What do you think about Drake?
Yeah, Drake's fine.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. I love when he raps. Yeah. When he sings, I'm not his biggest fan. When he raps, I feel like he's really good. I'll have probably... I'd like to say Pac, but I didn't listen too much to his music. I know like his biggest hits, like Hit 'Em Up and Ambition as a Writer, Hail Mary, all those songs. But like, I didn't maybe listen to all of his songs, but Tupac was phenomenal. I prefer Tupac over Biggie from what I've heard. I'm probably gonna have M there too.
Yeah.
And then maybe Future.
Okay. Solid.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Future.
I'm glad you got Tupac in the mix. Even though we're different generations of music, it's still
like I said,
speaks to the fact that good music is good music.
Like I started listening rap at 2008, 2009, and it was really like M and Lil Wayne were like, especially Lil Wayne, like that was my first rapper. Like what was it, YMC and
Lil Wayne's a great artist to have as like a first rapper to.
For me, Lil Wayne is
a dope artist.
Bro, he's phenomenal. Like even now at my age, because when I'm 8 or 9, I don't really dissect the lyrics that much. But now when I'm older, if I look at his lyrics like at 6 foot, 7 foot, bro, you're like, Jesus Christ, this guy was good, man.
I remember looking at cassette tapes back. You know what cassette tapes are, right?
Of course, yo, bro, come on, man. Yo, come on, man. Yo.
Check it.
Of course.
I look at that cassette tapes back in the day, and Vanilla Ice was one that was going around back then.
Ice,
the lyrics on there, and I used to be like, trying to rap those lyrics and keep up with Vanilla Ice.
Vanilla Ice,
baby.
Yeah, that's the only song I know from Vanilla Ice. I know, like, did he have like blonde hair with like a lot of gel or something?
Like that, my son now, who's 2 years old, and my daughter, 4 years old. They love, if you put on Ice Ice Baby, they'll sing that like
really. Yeah.
So it's, music keeps going.
Yeah. How would you say rap changed over the decades?
I think from having music having a message, to music not necessarily having as much of a message. Like there's, it's few and far now of artists that are actually like having something to say in their music versus just being like, I got money and. I got
going to the strip
and
club,
I got bitches, and, So I think, and that make me sound old. I don't know, but that would be the difference. I feel like music back in the day just was a lot more positive.
Do you think that maybe? Listen, I'm just thinking about it right now. Do you think that maybe because at that time people who rapped came more from struggle than nowadays? Like nowadays maybe. In a way, a guy who lives in a boy who lives in like a multi-million house, maybe he wants to rap because he finds it cool. But like real art comes from pain.
Right.
You know what? So maybe that's why before artists had a bigger message, you felt it in their voice that they truly had to say something and it was from their soul, like Tupac. Like in his music, I feel like his music was really raw. It was really authentic. Like it had a real deep message behind it.
And I think there was just like, there was less... it was less diluted, with so many artists, right? Mm-hmm. So I think what you're saying is a valid point. And then I think like, if you wanted to stand out, you almost had to say something different than what everybody else was saying, but, not be just out here talking about this, and that, But now it's like, there's so many artists, you can kind of just, it's like, becomes like the McDonald's of music, like the burgers become cheap, and it's just being diluted, Yeah. So it's, I think there's too much music coming out now, and so people don't care as much. It's just, they're just throwing out music just to make music,
Yeah. One question that I always ask artists, do you think that social media has more pros or cons for artists and for music in general?
More pros.
More pros, okay.
For sure, And
I always get different answers.
Yeah.
Always, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's definitely like a great way to be able to tell your story like now, versus having to, like before social media, you would have to physically, make a video or a CD and put it on something, like a CD or a DVD so people could watch it, or upload it to YouTube or whatever. But now with social media being so, at everybody's hands, like you could be a creator, from your bedroom and make some content that could go viral. So I think there's pros in it, but there are some cons,
And there are some cons. How I saw it is there are cons, there are pros, but I feel like the pros outweigh the cons.
Yeah.
'Cause what I like a lot about social media is, let's say I wanted to get you on my podcast, right? What did I do?
Yeah.
I followed you on Instagram. I sent you a DM.
Yeah, exactly.
Now we're here.
Yeah.
But I feel like maybe before it would have been like, do I maybe know a guy who knows Jay Morris? Well, how
you
do
would
I...
have to call me on my landline.
On your landline. How the fuck did you get this number? Who the fuck are you? Then maybe I'll have to go to like Ottawa downtown, hope to see you somewhere, or like maybe go to somewhere where you're performing. Then I have to like catch you backstage.
I was watching a story, something on somebody's post on social media, and they were talking about how, I guess it was a rapper and a producer, and they hadn't seen each other for 30 years. And
crazy.
When they saw each other 30 years ago, the way they contacted each other was via the landline, and then they met up in person. They had to both take a train from each side of the city to meet up just to hand them a beat tape to the rapper. The producer was handing a beat tape to the rapper. Whereas like now you could literally just DM them, here's a link to the social, to my beat pack, and then the artist gets it right away. There's no traveling across the city to do all these things. So, social media does have its pros in that sense.
I feel like it has a lot of pros. And I've traveled a lot, and there were recent, like 3-4 years ago, I went alone on a solo trip in Europe for 1 month. Of course, I went to Serbia, Croatia to see my cousins and everything, because all my family lives there. And the rest was all solo in Italy, Paris, and all of that. And I've been staying in hostels, meeting young people like me, guys, girls, whatever. And you make friends, right?
Yeah.
And let's say before, when there wasn't social media, you would have fun with them, meet them. You go back home, he goes back to Germany, you go back to Canada. you're never gonna see him again.
Right.
But now it's, yo, what's your IG?
Yeah.
And now you can stay in contact, whatever for him.
Right.
That's really fucking cool in my opinion.
You can meet people. Yeah, Quest and I, when we were traveling back from New York recently, it's like we were just meeting, you know, people here and there, and it's like, oh, you're on IG? Okay, boom. That's the way now to keep in touch with people versus before you'd have to like remember a phone number.
Send a pigeon.
Yeah, exactly. Talk through a can and like let it go from one can to the next, you know?
Yeah. That's one thing that I really love about social media. It connects the world more. It makes the world smaller. And you realize, like, even if you don't travel, just by seeing how other people live somewhere else or by contacting with them, it can in a way connect you guys better. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like there's way more pros.
Yeah, and
although there are cons.
The cons for me, I've had to block a few people, you know?
Okay, yeah.
So there's definitely been some cons on there.
Really?
But,
okay, yeah.
And then all the scams and stuff nowadays too,
course,
you know?
Of course.
Especially on artists, like there's so many.
Really?
Oh yeah.
What kind of scams?
Oh, there's people that hit you up all the time, like, oh, I could do this for your career and that for your career, or even like popular artists, like people are messaging under like the games account. You know what I mean? And then like
his real account.
Yeah, and it's, I don't know, you know, how this scam works, but you know, they'll message an artist and be like, oh, I like what you do, you know, and it's coming from like somebody who's popular. So right away people are like, oh yeah, and then they fall for, you know, paying these artists to do things and they're not actually getting, you know, what they're asking for, things like that, you know. So
yeah,
there's a lot of scams.
Yeah, scammers are getting creative, man.
Yeah.
They're getting really creative. Some of them, man. I mean, it's not good, but it's a fact of life.
I had to check your page and make sure you weren't a scammer.
I wasn't a scammer.
Quest verified you.
Yeah, I was verified. So that's a good verification. If you can verify me, that's good because you know so much about everything. So
and I saw you. You know, you messaged me 2 years ago.
Yeah.
To come on the podcast, and we didn't do it. You know, right away. Things for whatever reason didn't.
Yeah, I don't even remember. I remember messaging you. I remember wanting you on my podcast, but for whatever reason, I don't know why I didn't.
The time wasn't right. Stars have to align, yeah.
Oh, of course.
But I seen your interview with City, and I was
City
like,
Fidelity,
I love what you're doing here on the podcast. So
I remember the first time I met him was when he was opening for 50 Cent. Because I got tickets, because my manager, he had free tickets, and then he gave me one because I really loved 50 Cent. 50 Cent actually is one that I would put in my top 10. I always really loved 50 Cent. So when I saw him, and I saw him open for 50 Cent, and then I just saw him in the crowd, like having fun.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah, and then I was like, fuck it, I'm going to approach him. You know what? Maybe he's going to tell me to fuck off. I don't know him. I don't know what he's like. Maybe he's going to tell me to fuck off. Like, I don't know. I don't care. I'm going to take the L if it has. I approached him. He was so nice, man. So nice. I
always say now, especially networking is like so important to do, right? Like connecting with people like that. And I learned, you know, a valuable mistake in my opinion, because, you know, years ago, I'm talking like 2006, 2007, maybe even 2005, sometime in that range of 2005 to 2007. I was in Toronto. We were filming some content for the Hold It Down DVD that we put out years ago. And in the room was Drake.
Okay.
And, you know, this is before he was Drake.
Before he was Drizzy Drake.
Literally while he was like just on Degrassi. You know, he may have released like one song or something back then, but he wasn't as popular as he is now. And I remember seeing him in the room, and I was there with my older brother, and there was a few other people, and everybody, you know, that we were with kind of just turned around like, yo, is that Drake from Degrassi? And then we're like, well, we probably didn't even say Drake from Degrassi. I think it was
Aubrey.
Like, is that kid from Degrassi?
Aubrey
you know,
Graham.
something like that back then. And we were all kind of clowning, you know, and unfortunately I didn't take the opportunity to go up and just be like, what's up, man? You know, I'm so-and-so from Ottawa or whatever, you know, not that could have changed, you know, things, but it could have, you know? And so I always say it's important to network, you know, and especially now that I do all these things I do with like Cranium, and we hold like the conference and showcase and stuff, and I go around the world, you know, doing things musically and just, you know, trying to promote myself. Always network, you know, whenever you're in a room with somebody, just go up and say hi, you know. It could really change things for you. Or it couldn't, but you should still go.
You got nothing to lose.
Yeah, nothing to lose at all.
You can only gain. Yeah. And if you start seeing it that way, you're gonna be way more proud to approach people, and you're not gonna care if like it's a bad interaction.
And you're not gonna sit there and go, "That's that kid from Degrassi."
No, yeah, of course. Yeah,
although that was the vibes back then. When he was
everyone was clowning him.
That was the vibes back then. Oh, that's that kid from Degrassi, right?
Because who would have thought, right? He was like a child actor who was like a little bit of a, if I remember correctly, like a little bit of a nerd on Degrassi, and then he wanted to start rapping, and then of course, everyone's gonna clown him, right?
Biggest artist in the world.
Nah, bro,
arguably one of the biggest artists in the world. Yeah.
He's huge, man. Of course, networking is really, really important. And when you realize how I see it is, let's say when I saw City, right? I could have either approached him or say, you know what, fuck it, I'm not gonna approach him for whatever reason. By me not approaching him, I didn't gain anything.
Yeah.
By me approaching him, I can only gain anything. I cannot lose anything, because if he even if I have a bad interaction and he tells me like, fuck off, who the fuck are you? Whatever. I'm not saying he's not like that. He's a really good person.
That's what he told me earlier when
I'm joking. But even if I was to have a bad interaction with him, I didn't lose anything, because even if I wasn't to approach him, I still wouldn't have any interaction. I wouldn't have any connection with him. So you can only gain. If you start saying it that way, it becomes easier in a way to start networking.
And you put up those seeds everywhere you go. You build networking is like expensive. It costs a lot of money to do. So if you can, do it and utilize it, it can really be a big value for you.
There's one quote that
that's some advice for those people out there.
I love it, man. I'm going to clip it
Networking
for
is
other
key,
people. It is actually, man. And there's one quote from Carl Jung, who was like a philosopher, social scientist from Switzerland. And he said, do your work correctly and the right people will come in search of you. You guys will like connect in a way because you're both doing your work correctly. And it just makes sense for you guys to connect.
It's almost similar to like, if you build it, they will come.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's the same. Yeah.
And that's how, like I started thinking like that just with the work that I do, like just put it out there, for the world. Stop sitting on things and just get it out, because it'll keep building,
The most important, man, I have so many of my friends who like, even me, I was the same in the beginning, when you start something which is like being in the public eye, of course you're going to care about, public perception, how people see you, whatever. But at the end of the day, man, it's just like, do what you want to do what you love to do. As long as you're not hurting anyone, as long as you're not harming anyone, like you shouldn't really care what people have to say. Do the best you can, put it out there. And hey, some people are going to love your work. Some people aren't going to love your work. At the end of the day, how do you feel doing it? Do you feel good? Are you happy? Are you fulfilled? You're winning, man.
That's how even if I don't put out music if I don't like it.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I've had people tell me before, I like this, or you should have chose this beat, or you could have done it this way, or you probably shouldn't be doing it this at all, and it's like, if you're not happy with it, don't put it out. If you're happy with it, F what everybody else has to think,
Exactly, bro. You can't say it better than that. Like, I know if I look at me personally, like with my podcast, by far it's when I talk about soccer and football. But I don't care. I love bringing on guests. I love talking about other stuff. I don't care what brings me more views, more likes. I couldn't care less. I just want, when I do the podcast, am I having fun?
Yeah.
Am I in a flow state? Am I having fun interviewing this person, having a conversation with him, talking about this subject, that subject? Am I having fun? When I finish this podcast, I'm going to be fucking happy. So I won. I don't care if no one watched. I don't care if people tell me, yo, Andrei, you're the fucking worst podcaster ever. I don't care. I had fun, bro. You know what I mean? I had fun that day doing it. So I won.
You mentioned if you're having fun doing the interview. There's been some interviews when I was doing radio, like, it was just awkward talking to people.
Really? Okay.
Have you ever caught that? Like while you do your podcast? I'll tell you for me. So maybe because you did a lot of podcasts.
Yeah, a lot.
188 already. Yeah.
180. You're 188.
I'm 188. Yeah. No, I feel like sometimes people aren't as media trained, maybe.
Okay. Yeah.
They don't know how to converse and conversate and sit down and have a conversation. So I've definitely interviewed guests where like, their music's great, but their personality is like terrible.
Yeah, it goes the same for everyone. How I see it is, listen, if I bring someone on, I have some sort of knowledge what he's like. Of course, I don't know him more than that, but I stalked the social media.
Right.
I looked at him. And most importantly, if I bring you on my podcast, it's not because it's only me, right? It's not my boss told me, oh, you have to bring him. It's because I find you interesting.
Right.
I don't care if other people don't find you interesting. I don't care who finds you interesting. I find you interesting because it's the Andrei Delic Podcast, right? So I find you interesting. So I know I'm going to have good questions for you. I'm going to be really curious about it. And then, of course, some people are more talkative than other people. Some people are more introverted. Some are more extroverted. Some are more open on camera. Some are less open on camera. Some are maybe too much open on camera.
Right. You share too much.
Some people. But at the end of the day, it's like, I'm going to bring him on. I'm kind of good of socializing with people. I've always been good with it, so I never really had a problem. But I can see how some guests are like easier. Like you're really easy, right? You're open to everything. You probably, because you've done it many times, also, right? You've been doing it for many years. But some people, of course, they're more like maybe reserved, or their personality is just a bit like less talkative. Like when I ask them a question, Like, let's say I ask you a question. Oh, what's your favorite color?
Yeah, yeah.
You're gonna say green.
Green. That's it. Sit back, not answer anything.
But some people,
you got to give and go on it.
Some people are gonna say like, it's green, but you know what? When I wear a shirt, I like it to be blue. But my jeans are like, I'm just saying stupid stuff right now. But people are different.
They elaborate a little bit more on the conversation. Yeah.
What's the weirdest interview you had on radio?
I was in Toronto. I'm not gonna say the name of the artist.
You don't have to.
I was in Toronto, and I guess like it was my bad because there was 2 members of the group. And one of them came in and I gave them props.
Okay.
And then the other one came in, but I didn't realize that the other one was part of the group. That's my fault because as a, somebody who's doing interviews, you should know who's coming on. But at this specific interview was like a favor for a friend. They were like, oh, can you interview these guys?
Yeah.
So I didn't get a chance to really like take them in too much. So that was sort of my fault. So I didn't know who the second member was. I knew who one of the members was, didn't know who the second one was. So they came in, I didn't really give them props, my bad. Now we're sitting down and I'm asking them questions, during the interview, and this guy's salty. He's pissed because, from the get-go, I just didn't give him that respect.
Yeah.
And then he kind of turned it into like well, you don't know anything about us? Like, so that was probably like one of the most awkward ones. But I was so, good with what I was doing. I was able to get through that. I think that's probably the most awkward. And then later on, like they went on social media, like trying to clown on me and stuff. And,
really? Okay.
Yeah. So that's probably the most awkward one I have. But aside from that, I've had some pretty,
good ones.
Interviews, so
yeah. That's what happens. People don't realize, like, yes, it is a conversation, but in a way, we are in a way dancing. Like, I'm deflecting off you, you're deflecting off me, you're saying something that, I get another question in mind, and we go in a different sphere, and then we go here. And that's what I love about podcasting, which, in my opinion, it's not like structured.
Yeah.
Like, if you look at this, I just have quick, like, not even questions, I just have themes that I want to address. And then I address them. I look at them quickly.
That's a YouTube video you're watching. That's not even a question.
I'm watching Joe Rogan right now.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, that's how I do it. So I love just deflecting off the guy. And of course, if I bring you on, it's because since the beginning, I'm interested.
Yeah.
So on the basis, I'm going to be really curious and have really interesting questions to ask you, because my mind's going to be like, ask him this question. He said this. No, ask him this question. Yeah, but if I bring someone that, let's say I have a boss and he's like, you have to interview this guy. I don't care who he is. I don't really care that much about him. I'm not really curious about him. So of course, maybe then I'm going to be maybe more structured, because I'm going to be like, fuck, I have to do it because my boss told me to do it. But thankfully, with my podcast, it's only me. But maybe then it would be a bit different. But with podcasting, what I love is it's my show. I bring on who I want and try to make the best convos possible.
Well, you can clip this part. For me, this has definitely been, I think, one of the greater interviews that I've done, and for that reason, because there's sometimes you get on and even the people that you're getting interviewed by aren't prepared.
Okay, yeah.
And that always makes for like where is this even
What's
going?
the point of this? Like, does he have a motive behind it or something? Yeah. Does he have like a hidden agenda? Or?
So kudos to you for being a dope interview.
Appreciate it, man. That shit. I appreciate it.
That's a clip right there.
That's nice, bro. I appreciate you, honestly. And you guys, I didn't pay him. I swear.
You sent me the e-transfer earlier.
You already got it.
Yeah, exactly.
But I appreciate it. But like I said, if I bring you on, it's because I'm curious about you. So I'm going to have questions. And then the problem with me is I got to learn when to cut it. I'm like, fuck, I want to keep going, but then maybe it's going to be too long. Then I'm just like, fuck it. And plus, I'm really open to people, right? Even if someone has a completely different mentality from me, I'm not a type to get angry. I'm just going to say, really? Why do you think that way? Because I think maybe this is better. Do you think that maybe that's better? Like, I'm really open to everything. Like, some people think that I maybe have really hot takes. And sometimes when I do episodes alone, especially with soccer, I'm going to rage bait in a way with Ronaldo, because I'm a big Messi guy.
More people
but that's social media, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, one of my best friends, he's a fucking Ronaldo dick rider.
Right.
He's one of my best friends. Do I care? No, he loves Ronaldo. He thinks that Ronaldo is better.
So we should almost start off this podcast, or we should do a whole little clip here where you try to fight me, I try to fight you, and we'll just start it off like that.
We started off like that in the beginning. It was like, what the fuck's happening? And then we're having like the most wholesome conversation.
We should have just started off like that from the get-go, cursing each other out.
But that's one thing. So that's how I saw it is, let's say I think a certain way, someone thinks completely a different way from me. I'm never going to get mad. No. Like, I'm just going to be like, sure. And then if it's something that intrigues me, I'm going to ask you questions. Why? And then maybe you'll say something and I'm going to be like, damn, man, he's actually right.
I think that's also like a very important thing to have in this world. There's so many different opinions on things or ways
that's important, man.
Yeah, for people to talk and have discussions about. Because if everybody was the same, life would be extremely boring.
Oh, bro, extremely, bro. Yeah, it wouldn't even make sense anymore. Like
So
we couldn't even function anymore.
Yeah, I think even musically, like I like, I like listening to music that has different topics and discussions. Like otherwise I get bored if every song that I heard was, just about one thing. You got to have you want to take different vibes and go like a roller coaster of, energy. So
yeah, it's like I love movies. I've always been a big cinephile, and like sometimes I want to watch a comedy movie. I just want to laugh, not analyze the movie, not think about it deeply, philosophically, whatever. I just want to laugh. Put on Talladega Nights, Tropic Thunder, whatever movie. Sometimes I want to watch a deep movie, like with meaning. It's deep. Someone died, whatever. Sometimes I want to watch a horror movie, although I'm not really into horror movies. But the logic is sometimes I want something different sometimes. You know what I mean? It's just different. And it's art, right? So it can be really good and just liking it and doing it.
And that kind of goes back to like how we were talking about all the different lanes of things. It's like sometimes I'm like, I want to write a children's book. Sometimes I want to, do a food review, or sometimes I want to go do a song in the studio with Quest, or, whatever the case is. So, yeah.
How was that, man, writing a children's book? How was the process? How did it start? What was the process?
Yeah, I at first I was like, okay, and I've always wanted to do this for years, but to learn, I watched some YouTube videos.
Really?
Like how to create a children's book,
Yeah.
And then so I jumped into the programs that I was, that they were using, and I was able to sort of create the project or the skeleton of it. And then I was like, what am I going to say? And then I thought of, it's basically like, for me, it's just like writing a song, because I'm just rhyming in my books, It's like Dr. Seuss kind of vibes.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So I put the lyrics together, and then I created the artwork to kind of go with it, and put that all together, learned about publishing, self-publishing, and all the places that I had to register to make everything official. Got my book into the Ottawa Public Library, did a lot of like markets with selling my book hand to hand.
Went on TV also.
Did some TV interviews, things like this with the podcast interviews, and just trying to get it out. And when I was in New York recently, I got out, it's somewhere between like 70 and 80 books or something out there in New York. So, it's pretty dope to just get my stuff out as much as possible,
Yeah. And one thing that I'm going to admit is children books, children movies, in my opinion, is where you learn the most about how to be a good person, about life and whatever. Like when I was young, there were two movies that even now to this day, I watched them recently because I just love them. And they're literally children movies.
Which one is it?
Brother Bear.
Okay.
Brother Bear and The Prince of Egypt.
Okay.
You know about them?
Yeah.
Those two movies, like I remember when I was young, those two movies really like hit me in the head. And even now when I watch them, like I'm not afraid to admit it, I love watching them now.
Okay.
I love watching Brother Bear and the Prince of Egypt. Those two movies, man, I love them.
I don't like, so for now that I have kids too, I'm like trying to show them some of the movies that I grew up on. And for me, it was like things like Home Alone.
Oh, Home Alone. Okay.
Home Alone was one of those movies. Like it's like that Christmas.
Yeah. Christmas vibe, atmosphere.
There's a lot of like dope movies. I can't even think of all of them off top, but definitely there's some classic movies from when I was kids, and it's just like,
of course,
Aladdin.
Yeah, of course, yeah, Aladdin.
I'm like
also.
With my kids, I'm like, we gotta watch this. They're like, this is old.
Yeah. And my dad just told me recently, he was like, yo, I was so happy when you and your brother were young, because I could take you to the movies to watch these cartoons. And I feel like, I'm taking my kids. But deep down, he was the happiest person to watch those movies.
Yeah. I use it as an excuse.
It's like, but there's real messages behind those movies, man. It's crazy, man. Like real pure
There
messages.
was also some like sexual hidden things behind.
Yeah, now with social media, it gets
also like people just be creating shit like that didn't actually mean that.
Yeah, there's also that. I know now with social media, man, everything is that's different, right?
There's like a lot of the covers and stuff to the artwork. They said there were like hidden messages in,
Yeah, I saw a lot of like those. I guess some of them are right, but I feel like some of those are like conspiracy theories. I feel like some of them are
it's a stretch.
You come on.
I don't know if they actually put that in there. But I can't believe that there's like definitely hidden messaging in a lot of, like we talked about it, like with the musicians, like just with artists, I think are used to put out messaging into this world. Like even sometimes it's positive messaging, sometimes it's not. there's hidden agendas and stuff in a lot of things.
Of course,
yeah.
always, man, always. You never know people's true intentions.
Yeah, I'm a big conspiracy theorist sometimes, you know.
Really? Like, yeah.
But I try to stay away from it.
I've always been really anti-conspiracy theorist. Maybe because I never really got deep into it. But like the main ones, fake moon landing, it's hard for me to believe that. 9/11, stuff like that, it's hard for me to believe. But I've never been really into it. But I find it, Alex Jones?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like deep into it.
Right.
For me, it's funny. It's entertaining. So, I'm going to watch it, but now is it true? But he's been true a couple of times, but he's thrown so many takes out there that one has to stick.
Right,
what I mean? So there is that, man. But I've never really been that deep into it.
There's the whole, who killed Tupac,
Yeah, and Biggie.
Is he still alive?
Yeah. He's in Cuba right now.
Yeah, exactly. Elvis is still out there somewhere,
There's always those.
Yeah, there's a lot of conspiracy theories.
A lot of crazy ones.
I try to stay away from overthinking things too much sometimes, but sometimes it happens.
Yeah. One question I want to ask you, maybe even Quest can answer with you. Old school rap or new school rap?
I'm gonna say new school just because, for me, I think I like to stay up to date with some of the, the new music too. So new school, and it keeps me like feeling young, and energetic and being able to keep up with the times. So definitely new school for that sense. But old school because I think it's important to know some of your classics and
the pioneers.
Know your past and know your history. Yeah. So a little mix of both, would be that for me. Quest, new school, old school? He's coming. Come through.
Tell us which one's better.
Let's see. Come on, Cam, man.
No, because I'm going to do a version of this.
Okay, he's gonna come later. He doesn't want to reveal himself right now.
But I don't think you can compare both.
Okay.
I don't think it's comparable actually. There's debate all the time about who's better, whose generation is better, like even in basketball, right?
Yeah.
Or even in soccer.
Soccer, yeah, of course.
Well, like I prefer Zidane than Messi.
Because you were born with Zidane was the main guy. Yeah.
And there would be no Messi without Zidane anyways. In a sense.
And there would be no Zidane without Ronaldo or without Maradona, without Pelé, Yeah.
And so on and so on. But I'm 46. I'm going to say old school. Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Because the artists I was listening to were rapping in 1991.
Damn,
I
yeah.
was 11 years old. And even them, were inspired by other people before them. So, but I don't think you compare. They both exist at the same time in different ways. And they both inspire each other.
They both have a place and
A
time.
little bit of both.
Yeah. Another question that I had also.
But
yeah, go ahead.
I want to say there was a very, very ugly phase during the pandemic where there was like Lil Pump and all these rappers.
Yeah.
Blowing out of SoundCloud. They call it the
SoundCloud rappers, yeah.
Oh my God. Erase that from history.
Really? Okay.
I don't think that should exist, period.
Really? The SoundCloud rappers.
Lil Pumps, the
Smoke
Lil
Perp. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Don't ask questions.
No.
Poor Lil Pump.
Oh, really? Yeah. Yeah. And what about, do you feel like, I heard many times that some rappers feel like rap stars aren't getting the same respect that, let's say, rock stars are getting?
I say there's like a ageism thing, for between genres, and rap for some reason has this age restriction set behind it. So it's once you get to a certain age, you're not cool anymore, or you can't make good music, or hip hop is a young man's game, is said a lot of the times. So I think ageism is a problem within rap that's not like that with rock music or country music or reggae music.
I never
right?
thought about it. Yeah,
a lot of the artists can make music, and some artists are just blowing up and getting famous at 60, 70, 80 in certain, type of genres. So I think that's the difference with rap and a lot of these other genres.
I never thought about it, man. It makes a lot of sense, because even now, let's say when you see the Rolling Stones still performing, no one's saying what are these guys doing?
Yeah.
But if you see Snoop Dogg, people are starting to call him Unk, and you're right that in rap it's you have to be young in a way.
Yeah.
Whilst in these other genres, country, rock, whatever, you can be young, you can be old.
Yeah. But I think also rap is very much a competitive sport, and one thing about rap is people like to sort of be cocky with things and be like, oh, you know, like I'm younger, I'm flyer, I'm doing. So it's like that, you know, competitive, talk that shit nature, you know.
Yeah.
And so that's like an easy way to be like, you're old, you know. That's also one of the biggest disses ever, right?
Yeah, of course.
You're old,
course.
you know. So they try to use that against you in hip hop now, you know.
It's also the only genre that exists that has a battle form.
Yeah.
Right. Only rap has where you can
it's such
battle.
a competitive thing, right? Like, it's naturally like you artists try who's better with rapping, you know.
Yeah.
But I think I remember being like, you know, in my early 20s and a rap battle with dope artists from the city and using that in one of my lines in the freestyle, like, you know, how old the person was, you know. And now 20 years later, I'm up there, you know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when you joke around with someone's age, one day if you're lucky, even if you're blessed and lucky, you're gonna be that age, right?
Especially if you're lucky and blessed.
Exactly. So it's a blessing to grow old. It's a blessing, man.
Yeah. And I feel like now it's like with hip hop, there's a lot of great artists that are still active, that are now in their 50s, you know, going into their 60s, that are still touring and still doing stuff. So it's slowly changing because hip hop's still so young. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But I think that's one thing that's different between the genres, I would say. Yeah.
One question I was going to ask you, but you answered it a little bit, is did you ever battle rap? And I suppose
did, yeah.
Do people still battle rap nowadays?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
But it's more like written battle rap format with like, you know, places like King of the Dot and Smack battles. And
so you write it before you get on stage.
Yeah.
But before it was just...
I'm from the era where it's like you would literally freestyle on the spot, you know, and do that. There was a artist by the name of Jin who was signed to Rough Riders back in the day.
With DMX, right? That's Rough Riders.
Yeah. And so Jin was on a tour to battle rap different people in different cities. He was going around literally like just signed his Rough Riders deal, and he was going around basically like, I'm the best MC, nobody can beat me. And he was doing a tour like that all around the world. And he came to Ottawa. There was a club called Pyramid Nightclub on Dalhousie Street, and the whole thing was you would go into that freestyle battle with a chance to battle Jin. So it was like a big thing back then.
It was like the king.
He was like that, you know. Plus, he just got signed to Rough Riders, so everybody was like, yo, I want to go battle that guy because he's coming to the city. So anyways, I entered that freestyle battle. Belly entered that freestyle battle. Another artist named Ironic from Half Size Giants, who's, you know, you should definitely have on the podcast at some point because he's got some stuff to talk about for sure, I'm sure. Who else?
Is he from Ottawa?
Yeah, he's from Ottawa.
Oh, okay.
And then Ben, I don't know if you're familiar with Bender. Rest in peace to Bender.
No.
One of the dopest writers, you know, artists in the world. He's from Ottawa too. He was part of like a lot of the King of the Dot battles, and just a legendary artist. You should look into him, Bender.
Yeah.
And he was part of a group called Flight Distance too, back in the day. But Bender was part of that rap battle. So there was Bender, Belly, Ironic, me, and Jin, and probably a few other MCs in there. And I battled, trying to remember this off top, I battled Bender, beat him, and then battled Belly, lost to Belly. And then after Belly battled Ironic beat Belly, and then Ironic battled Jin, and everybody arguably will say that that
Ironic
Jin won.
Jin won, okay.
Because he was just like that big artist back then, but Ironic won. You know, and beat him. So, and there's footage of that on YouTube if you search.
Like unbiasedly,
Ironic
won, but since he's a bigger name, and it's like, okay, just give it to him.
It was almost like it was his show, it was everything. So it was like it leaned more towards. Jin came with it. He wasn't not. He
wasn't pissed.
He didn't flop. He came with it. But Ironic definitely, you know.
Really?
And there's footage of it on YouTube if you search Ironic versus Jin.
Really? Okay, yeah. And do you think that maybe at that time, did you have to be a good battle rapper to be a good rapper? Or it's like two completely different things?
Different things.
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
I think it's dope if you can master both. You know, but I don't think I necessarily would get into like the written battle side of stuff now. I think I just preferred more like the freestyle on the spot stuff. But I'd be if the bag was right, I'd be up for getting into the written battle leagues. You know, but yeah, I came from that era, man, and I battled a few like dope artists, you know, through freestyle battle. I battled Shad from back in the day too, and I think maybe I lost that one. You know, it's like one of those things where it's like sometimes you're gonna win, sometimes you're gonna lose.
You did everything, man.
You gotta get into it, you know. But it's good to be competitive.
And how does, I know how battle rapping works, but how does it, like, is it just insulting the other guy, but it has to rhyme? You want to like bring him down? Like, what's the main logic behind it?
Yeah, I think, well, like, at least in the freestyle era of it, it was more like, you know, you're making fun of the person's shoes that they're wearing, you know, making fun of their clothes that they're wearing, you know, things that you're seeing physically on the spot. Now it's gotten to a point where, like, you find information about your opponent before
Because it's pre-written.
You know, because it's pre-written. People are, once the leagues, you know, announce who's battling who, people are probably messaging, you know, the other person to give them dirt about somebody to use, you know. People are paying to get information from people. And then you show up and you have all this, like, you know, you did this when you were 5, and
you're like,
you know,
what?
Who
the fuck are you talking
told me this
to?
about you? You know what I mean? Like,
Who the fuck are you talking to?
So it's like they know, you know, things in advance, which makes it a little bit more interesting, I think, for that aspect. But with the freestyle stuff, it was literally like, oh, that hat you wearing, you know, looks horrible.
Do you think it was maybe more creative since it was on the spot, and creativity happens more when it's like freestyle? In my opinion, like from whenever I did podcast,
what's even like the podcast, right?
You know, the less structured it is, you have to leave room for creativity. You don't know what's gonna happen, who's gonna say what, and then what questions are you guys gonna talk about, what topics are you guys gonna talk about. So you have to leave room for creativity.
100%,
I feel like maybe battle rapping. The only thing that I mostly know about battle rap is, you know, 8 Mile, the movie 8 Mile. Everyone watch it, right? And then like Slim Shady will be Rabbit was his name in that movie. He choked in the beginning, and then at the end he like battled against everyone, and he just went crazy. And it was mostly like, oh, that tank top is too tight for you, those cornrows are too tight.
It's literally about what you see in the spot.
And
doing that. But yeah, it's gotten a lot more creative now. And I think there's some similarities between like podcasting, you know, being like the freestyle. Like, you wouldn't want to come here with a whole bunch of written questions when there's things happening that you can jump on and ask another question.
Exactly.
I think with the freestyles, but back in the day with the freestyle stuff, people would have like pre-writtens.
Of course.
Come too, you know.
Yeah, but you just can't bring like a paper on.
You might have one or two that are like heavy hitters that you would throw in with, you know, with your freestyle, you know, while you're talking about their shoes that they're wearing, you know.
Yeah, and what do you think about rap beefs? Because throughout history, there's been many rap beefs who are just like playful and all for clout, but some rap beefs were like, people got killed. Like, it can be really dark as much as it can be really about just marketing.
I think I think that competitive nature is always going to be part of hip hop, and I think is important to do. So rap beefs are great, not when they turn violent, obviously. But there's been some, like, you know, great stuff, right? Obviously, that we all know about the Tupac Biggie stuff, which sadly turned, you know, violent for both of them. But there's been some great stuff, like even now, you know, with Drake and Kendrick Lamar, and, you know, going back with Drake and Pusha T, and Drake and Meek Mills, you know, and Jay-Z and Nas, like, you know, Cannabis and LL Cool J. Like, there's been some great beefs for sure. Yeah,
of course. What do you think won between Drake?
Do you have any podcast beef?
I had any? No, I think once maybe I had. Not really. I don't really. I'm not there. I'm not up there yet. One day, hopefully, I'll have podcast
talk that
beef.
shit about all these other podcasts.
I mean, fuck your podcast, bro.
Your desk ain't like mine, homie.
Yeah, your desk ain't like mine, bro.
You know.
Ouais, il a politique à Luca. Ouais. There was like about soccer with my brother Luca. Luca did a take, and that take went, like, that clip went viral. Like, it was the first clip that I did that had like 1 million views on Instagram. I was like, damn, remember, even my brother were like, what the fuck happened? Because before that, it was simply like, we're posting it, maybe our friend's gonna like someone. That was the first real clip where, like, we saw like, yo, random people are commenting, random people are liking, they're sharing on their story.
That's big.
And when he did that take, like a couple of weeks later, his soccer podcast did the same take, and my brother was like,
they copied you?
Yeah, exactly the same
You got a beef with them.
And that was like 1 or 2 years.
What's the name
ago.
of this podcast?
Yeah, I forgot.
Oh, perfect. Yeah.
I forgot.
Your podcast sucks.
Appreciate it. No, but honestly, I forgot, man. But that was the only time where, like, it was when he said, like, the take was like, football is better when Chelsea are playing good, something of that sort. And then when they're what? Oh, okay, something like that. I remember exactly, but I remember another guy said, and then Luca was like, "What the fuck?" And then that's where.
No, you gotta have podcast beef, man. Fuck these.
We can also have podcast beef. That would be
because the thing about people is people like
controversy
like that. Yeah.
People love controversy.
100%. Yeah. So I think, like, even after this, I'm gonna like make a post and say, "Fuck your podcast."
Yeah,
you
of
know,
course.
So
Yeah,
people
go
tune
ahead.
in, you know what
Yeah,
I mean?
they're going to be like, you can say like, yo, this guy, what the fuck was he talking about? He's the worst guy.
That was the worst podcast I've ever been
bro.
to. This guy just did this, and this.
It was all about him, bro. He didn't care about the other guy. Oh, no, bro. Yeah. But I want to ask you, who do you think won between Drake and Kendrick?
Oh, man. I have to choose sides. No, I'm joking. I think Kendrick won the battle.
Okay.
Drake won the war, if that makes sense.
Elaborate.
So Kendrick won in the small,
Small victory?
small little victory, but Drake
Okay.
is the one that's really doing, crazy numbers right now. And
Okay, in that
you know,
sense.
so,
Okay, yeah.
yeah, they went to battle. Kendrick won, obviously with all the big song that he had, being
Yeah.
on the Super Bowl, like that's like a victory, to be able to
course.
do a diss song. Even if I'm not even saying like Kendrick's music is better than Drake or Drake's music better, but just having that moment where you're on the Super Bowl and you're, dissing somebody else.
It's kind of
that's-
crazy.
That's pretty epic.
It's one of the biggest.
Drake had that win, like when he went against like Meek Mill, and like his song, Drake's song was like everywhere on the radio, like a huge hit, huge popular song. And Kendrick kind of took it in that sense, right?
Yeah.
But Drake's still the one standing right now.
Yeah.
So
So he won
he
in the
won.
bigger picture sense.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
in the marketing scheme, if it was, he won in that sense. But when it came to literally who's a better battle rapper, it's Kendrick. Is
I
that
wouldn't
what
even
you mean?
say. I wouldn't even say it was because Drake can actually like
Yeah,
go
he's good.
this for this. He's
Yeah.
got stuff like dating back like years before he
Yeah.
was like, famous. So,
What about Pusha T and Drake?
between Pusha T and Drake,
No, Pusha T killed him.
you think so?
Well, isn't he the one who said like, yeah, what about your son Adonis? And then
But
after
again,
that-
like I feel like Drake's still winning, right? Like against
yeah,
all
of
the-
course, yeah. In the bigger
But Pusha
sense,
T
yeah.
definitely left a mark with the whole
Bro,
like, oh, you got a kid and you don't want to talk about your kid stuff.
Yeah.
And, just leaking that information. So I think Pusha T definitely got a couple good punches in there. But
Yeah.
I think Drake's still standing at the top. I think between artists like, Jay-Z and Nas, I feel like, at one point people thought Jay-Z was winning that and Nas was winning that, but I feel like now they're both still, standing strong. So
yeah, both of
they're
them are
both- yeah,
legends
yeah.
of the game, man.
yeah, 50 between 50 and Kanye, when they had like
Yeah,
the
they had a little
album
beef, yeah.
for a little
Who's
bit,
gonna have the better album
which was
with
just
more
marketing,
sales?
Yeah. But I feel like I think Kanye took that with album sales, right, or something.
Way more album sales.
Yeah.
I mean, I prefer 50 over Kanye West, as much as I love Ye's music. But in that beef, it was all about who's gonna sell more copies, and like Ye just destroyed them.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna like create a beef with Quest too.
With Quest, yeah.
Yeah. Or I might go against City Fidelia too.
Why not?
Yeah,
Fuck it,
Fuck
bro.
City Fidelia.
I'm gonna clip that. That's
Yeah, that's our beef right there too.
They'll be like, what the fuck happened, bro? I thought we were cool, man.
No, that's the.
What's happening?
Yeah, man. I think rap beef is important, man. It's
Yeah.
part of the ecosystem of hip hop.
That is also the only genre where you can have beef.
Yeah, I think it would be weird. I mean,
Jazz
maybe
beef.
other artists do it, but I think it would be weird to hear rock artists diss
Opera
each other.
beef.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
doesn't
opera.
work. It doesn't work. Podcast beef and rap beef is where it's at.
Because it's more like you tell a story and you talk about.
I don't even
it,
think
whatever.
producers beef with each other. Quest, you're a producer.
Do you beef with someone?
Yeah.
I love everyone.
Like tow truck drivers beef, like
Okay, yeah. Because there's a lot of like gang related members in the tow trucking
That's
business
a whole,
or something.
That's a whole like black
Yeah.
market stuff happening
Yeah.
over there. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even know it. Like I was surprised because the tow trucking business. Who even thinks
Yeah.
about the tow trucking
Yeah.
business? But from what I heard, there's like a lot of gang members.
Yeah, they're probably out there
criminals.
creating accidents just so they could tow the cars.
Yo, bro, I'm imagine it's your car and there's like two tow trucks and you're like, yo, that's
they're
my car.
beefing.
There's just two guys like, yo, I'm taking the fucking car. No,
Yeah.
I'm taking it. You're like,
Whoever
"Well, it's
hooks
my
up
car."
first.
You're like, well, it's my car. Can I just have it, please? Like, no, you shut up. I know
Yeah.
we know it's your car. Shut up.
No, there were like people
Who's gonna have
dying
the-
over in the tow
It's
truck
crazy,
world.
man.
Yeah.
When I heard about it, I was like, are you fucking with me? Like, well, I knew that before in New York with like the Italian American members, mafia members, it was waste management. And I heard it because of The Sopranos. I watched The Sopranos.
Waste
and
management.
Waste management. If you're a mafia member, you have a waste management company.
Okay.
And I don't know why waste management, because maybe because you dispose of bodies quicker. I don't know, but it was waste management.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know how they got into it.
I didn't
Why?
even know about that.
Hey, they're into waste management. Here it's tow trucking. Maybe in Jamaica it's something else. In Serbia it's something else. In Portugal it's
patty beef in Jamaica.
Yeah,
who making
patty
the bigger
beef.
patties?
Yeah, no, there's a lot of stuff, man. So listen, I'm gonna ask you a couple more questions. We've been rolling for what, close to 2 hours? Yeah, we're close to hitting 2 hours. So now I want to ask you, from now to the near future, what are your biggest plans and what are your biggest ambitions?
Yeah, I think for myself, what's important is to, again, just keep creating, content and putting out stuff. So more children's books are coming.
Really? More? Yeah. Okay, nice.
More children's albums. Definitely, fingers crossed, going for some big awards, for the music and stuff that I've been releasing. Definitely getting myself out and touring more, and getting out of Ottawa more than just staying here. And I love my city.
Of course.
I love doing work from here and spreading it out to the world, but I need to get out to the world more. So that's next too. Yeah.
One thing I wanted to ask you in the beginning of the podcast, but I forgot. What is it like performing on stage in front of people?
Yeah, and I kind of talked slightly about that adrenaline rush at the beginning, like when my pops bringing me on stage. I love controlling a crowd.
Okay.
Being able to get up on stage and telling the crowd, put your hands up in the air, and the crowd does it, right? Like really emceeing and controlling the crowd. So that connection with the audience is great when I'm on stage, and it really is just like another world for me. So like I could have all the problems in the world before I go on stage. When I'm on stage, I forget about it all.
Nice.
Yeah.
You're in a flow state.
That was real sad, right?
Yeah, my life's shit.
Yeah.
But when I get on stage,
it's great.
It's phenomenal, bro.
No, but it really just is another realm, like it's magical being on stage.
Yeah. One last question to end this podcast. If you can leave a final message to either your kids when they're gonna get older and watch this, what would you leave them as a message?
So I really, really like to stick by the idea of you'll start to shine when your stars align, right? And to inspire before you retire. So,
nice. Damn, and the old rhyme. You're a real rapper, man.
I'm a real rapper like that. Bars. But yeah, those are the things, that are important to me. So keep doing what you're doing. Don't give up. Just because it's not happening right now doesn't mean it's not going to happen. And when you'll start to shine when your stars align.
Jay Morris, man, thanks a lot for coming on my podcast, man. Had lots of fun. Man. Thanks for having this great conversation with me. Hope you had fun.
Appreciate you.
And well, wish you all the best, man.
Thank you, bro.
Take care, man. Guys, that was it for this episode. Peace out.